everybody, it's Emily at Arg Schooling, and welcome back to another episode of Homeschool Tidbits. Welcome back to Build Your Libraries at Homeschool Tidbits. Today we're doing episode 71, and I'm going to be talking about books that you should be reading this election year. In this weekly video series, I will delve briefly into a topic related to homeschooling, and I'll share some of my knowledge and expertise as a longtime homeschooling mother of 4 children, 3 of whom have graduated high school, and 2 who have now graduated college. It's an election year, and if you're a homeschool family, you probably want to take advantage of this by studying elections and government and politics. So today I thought I would give you some book recommendations to help you get the most out of your studies. And of course I want to plug the Build Your Library Election Unit Study. If you're looking for a comprehensive, planned out study on the election process, this is going to be a great fit for you. It is an elementary level unit. It's best for ages, I'd say 8 to 12. But of course you could always adjust. I do include an extra book list with some titles for younger children should you want to include them in it as well. But this unit is a 3-week study that will help you to explain to your children how the government works, all about political parties, the Electoral College, and so much more. And it uses just 3 books, so it's very easy to fold it into your regular homeschooling routine without having to drop everything else. And these are the books it uses. We have See How They Run. This is all about campaign dreams, election schemes, and the race to the White House by Susan E. Goodman and Elwood H. Smith, and it is a just really great resource with everything you ever wanted to know. And then we have this book, which is What's the Big Deal About Elections by Ruby Shamir and Matt Faulkner, and this one has a lot of great information as well, and also some really great illustrations. And then we have Madam President, The Extraordinary, True, and Evolving Story of Women in Politics by Catherine Thimish. And this is about women in politics, not just in America, but all over the world, and there's lots of great information included in that. So those are the books that I use in the election unit study, should you want to use that. Let's say you want a little bit more, maybe you have older children, what have you. I have 5 more recommendations today to help you get a little bit more out of your studies about the elections and the election cycle. So you can use these books in your morning basket, you can leave them around the house for your kids to peruse in their free time, whatever you like. These are 5 books that I would highly recommend having in your home library. So to kick it off, I want to talk about one of my absolute favorite resources. That would be the United States Constitution graphic adaptation by Jonathan Hennessy. I love this book so much. This is a really easy to read, really easy to understand book covering the entire Constitution. Not just the Constitution itself, but also the reason why we have it, and from when it was written to the ratification and everything in between. The author explains every single clause, article, and amendment, citing historical examples to help you better understand how and why this document is central to the way our government runs. This is more for teens and adults, but read slowly and with lots of great discussion, I think you could use this with a child as young as 12. Next, I want to talk about History Smashers, Women's Right to Vote by Kate Messner, because you can't talk about elections and voting without getting into women's suffrage. I am a huge fan of the History Smashers series on the whole. These little books cover a lot of interesting historical topics, and they're done extremely well. The author does a really great job of exploring history through different perspectives. My youngest and I read this last year, and she still talks about this book and what we learned from it to this day. And in fact, we've been reading this book all year, and this has come up in discussion so many times. So she's applying what she learned from here to this, which I think is fantastic. So this book smashes the myth that just 1 or 2 women convinced the government to give women the right to vote, because it took thousands of women over many, many decades of fighting and protesting to get the 19th Amendment passed. This book covers a lot of ground, and not only will they learn about women's suffrage, of course, but they're also going to learn about the abolition movement and how they got involved, and the importance of protesting, and just so much more. This book has a lot in it, and I highly recommend it. This one I would say is great for your middle grade learners, ages 8 and up. Now, if your child is a little bit too young to do the United States Constitution graphic adaptation, I would recommend you get We the People. This is the United States Constitution Explored and Explained by Ora Lewis and Evan Sargent. And this, very similarly to the other book, covers the entire Constitution. So it covers all the same information, but in a way that your middle grade learner could better follow and understand. And it also includes lots of great illustrations to help your child get the most out of the text. Each 2-page spread covers a topic, from the branches of government to the amendments in the Constitution, giving you a bite-sized way to add civics lessons to your homeschool routine. This one, again, is great for ages 8 and up. Now, this next book is perfect for your teens. It's called True or False, a CIA and Analyst's Guide to Spotting Fake News, and this is by Cindy L. Otis. Now, this isn't specifically election focused. However, I'm including it here because this is all about learning to navigate the internet and social media, detecting fake news, which is a skill you need as an educated voter. This book covers so much. From the history of fake news, and spoiler alert, it's been a problem since ancient Egypt, to how to tell the difference between a fact and an opinion, to learning how to detect fake news. This book should be required reading for all teens and adults. My youngest and I have been reading this all year, a chapter a week, and we have had so many great discussions. I feel like we're both learning so much. Now, my last recommendation isn't so much a recommendation as a suggestion, because this is the one I have not read yet. But I wanted to include this because once you've read the Constitution and you understand how our government is supposed to run, you can read You Call This Democracy? How to Fix Our Government and Deliver Power to the People by Elizabeth Rush. This book seeks to help you understand the problems that we face in our country today, and then looks for ways that we can solve those problems. I plan to read this one with my daughter in the fall, once we've finished reading the Constitution graphic adaptation and True or False, so that we can then continue our civics studies and dig even deeper into understanding how our government can and should work. It can be challenging to explain elections to our children and voting when we have such strong feelings about them. I hope I've given you plenty of options today to help you teach your children about the election process this year. If you found this video to be helpful, I hope that you'll check out Build Your Library curriculum. Build Your Library is a secular, literature-rich homeschool curriculum inspired by Charlotte Mason's philosophy of education. Based on nearly 20 years of homeschooling, I created the curriculum I wished I had had when I first started homeschooling. I have spent thousands of hours cultivating the best literature to enhance your children's studies. Our lesson plans make homeschooling simple. Just open them up, gather your books, and go. Our easy-to-use lesson plans include everything you need to homeschool. Just add math. You can choose from our full-year K-12 levels, as well as our fun and topical unit studies and our newest product, Lit Bites. With Build Your Library, you will cultivate a home library filled with captivating literature, and you'll raise children who become lifelong learners. So snuggle up with our lesson plans and a good book or 3 and have your best homeschool year ever. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tidbit to be helpful, and be sure to come back next time for more homeschooling inspiration. Until then, happy reading. Bye.